Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is WatchArc. My name is Simone. I am a 22-year-old Italian broke watch enthusiast, and in today's video we're going to be talking about quartz watches and automatic watches. This is the main difference that there is in the watch world, and let's explain the basics here. A quartz watch is essentially a watch powered by a battery. You put in a new battery every couple of years and then your watch will keep on working until it stops. You put in a new one and here you go. This is as easy as it gets, and most watches that you can find at malls, you can find online are in fact quartz watches, and quartz watches are very cheap to produce, mostly pretty reliable. They tend to keep on working until they run out of power, so most watches are done with this technology. Casio digital watches are also quartz, so keep that in mind. Automatic watches, on the other hand, are watches that do work with the movement of your wrist. This is a bit complicated, but stick with me. So you have your watch on your wrist. You move your wrist normally during your day. There is a rotor inside the movement of the watch. The movement is the thing that makes the watch work. The rotor spins, this powers the spring inside the watch. The spring releases powers, it goes to the hands, and then boom, your watch starts working. This is how simple as it gets. I couldn't explain it in any simpler way, so let's talk about this difference, okay? Because funnily enough, enthusiast watch people do prefer automatic watches, and basically all the high-end watches are automatic. This is sort of a nonsense because quartz watches are more accurate, are more reliable mostly, are cheaper in the first place, and are much cheaper to maintain. So why automatic watches go towards enthusiasts? Because there is history with it. Watchmaking has been a thing since God knows how many years, and modern watchmaking, let's say, started in the 1800s, even the 1700s, and since that, watches that were made were much more similar to automatic watches than they are to quartz watches. Quartz watches came out in the 70s, Seiko invented them, they completely broke the Swiss watch industry, they were very cool in the 70s, and so yeah, let's say that automatic watches are more historical, and enthusiasts are really interested in that. And I do prefer, personally, automatic watches. They are cooler, simply, in my opinion. It's cooler to have a watch that has that much history inside. But I get why quartz watches are more popular. They are simply more accurate, more reliable. They are much more practical, let's say. An enthusiast does not make a watch purchase which is practical most of the time. If you wanted to go practical, you would buy a Casio digital watch, 10 euros, forget about it, you've got it. If you want to go in the enthusiast way, let's say, you go with something that makes probably less sense, but is cooler to you. This is the main difference. With that said, I do love quartz watches. I adore them, and I've got them in my collections because what they are able to give is something very cool, in my opinion. And stick with me. If I want to have an automatic watch that is sort of affordable, I will probably only find watches which are 300 hour, minute, second, maybe a day date sometimes, but this is mostly it. Okay, I will not be able to have a chronograph for an affordable, stick with me, an affordable automatic watch. Will never be a chronograph. Probably will never be a GMT. Okay, you will never be able to track a second time zone. So By buying only automatic watches which are affordable, you will never be able to get these complications into your watch. Whilst, for example, I have my Seiko Flightmaster, which is not the best example, it's a 30-year-old watch, but there is the modern Flightmaster as well. That watch is around $300, and for that you get an alarm, you get a chronograph. This is so cool, and it would never be able to happen with an automatic watch. Or, for example, Casio digital watches. Oh my god, I adore them. I have done a sort of a shady review on the Casio Databank, the calculator, but I actually do love it. I adore it. It's great. Casio is such a cool brand when they do digital watches. I love them, and you would never be able to have a watch be a calculator if you had to do that through a movement, you know what I mean? It would never happen. And so many watches that are important to watchmaking, that are great, they give a lot of power to enthusiasts, are actually quartz watches. There's nothing wrong with going with a quartz watch if you like it. My first ever serious watch was a quartz watch, was my Timex Navy XL. I love it. I still wear it to this day because it's a well-designed, well-built watch. Of course, I would prefer it if it was an automatic watch. It would be much cooler, but I still use it because sometimes you wake up, you don't want to wind your watches, and you get a quartz watch. This is another very cool thing about quartz watches. They don't run out of power, whilst automatic watches that are affordable tend to run out of power around 40 hours after they have been fully charged for the last time. So what happens is sometimes you leave your watch in your watch box and you want to pick it up, it's out of power if it's an automatic watch. If it's a quartz watch, it's very unlikely it's run out of power, so you get that, you put it on your wrist and you enjoy it. This is another thing I adore with quartz watches. So what I want to say with this video basically is, if you are someone that is just starting out on watches, do keep in mind that yes, everyone will tell you that automatic watches are cooler, are better, and sometimes yes, they are. But if you like a watch which is a quartz, don't let that stop you from buying it, because quartz watches are so much fun, have so many different designs for us that can't spend a lot of money, that skipping them completely is such a waste. You could have a lot of cool design. Think about the Seiko VK65 movements with the sweeping second hands for the chronograph, like Dan Henry. Those watches are super cool. You would never get that with an automatic watch. Or think about the latest GMT by Timex. It's a quartz GMT, of course, but it's also really cheap, so you would never be able to get a GMT for that price. So my final statement for this video is, go out, buy a lot of watches, enjoy all of them, and don't skip watches simply because they are a quartz, because trust me, you will enjoy it a lot. So guys, thank you very much for watching, for sticking till the end of this shorter video probably. It's been a pleasure for me. I am really enjoying this period on my YouTube channel. We are growing pretty fast, so thank you very much for all the new subscribers. I would like to apologize for my English, which is not my first language, so if you have been bothered by that throughout the video, apologies, but I'm Italian, I am still learning, so if you want to give feedback on my English, please do in the comments down below. If you want to comment on what I had to say during the video, do that as well. This is WatchArk, my name is Simone, a 22-year-old Italian broke watch enthusiast.